Hi everybody, it's Veroosh. Welcome to my channel. This is your reading for March 2022. I thought it would be a good intro. The real reason I'm here is because there's a very important transit that we're under right now that I didn't get to make the video for that I wanted to. So I wanted a fast way to let all of you know what's going on and explain it for you right now, and then we'll do a nice tarot card reading for everyone, every single sign, using the cards. I hope you guys are okay. And members, I think I was gonna do a private live stream for members, but it's been a long time since we did videos. So I propose, how about we do a sit down for every element over the next several days. So I'll do like earth, air, fire, water, and then we can do live stream and do a reading for each of the signs that way. So I'll do 4 sit downs with you guys by element. Maybe that's a good trade-off, and then we'll do more videos later. Of course, a lot of drama has been happening in the world, and not drama, just catastrophe and great sadness for my culture and my people, and it's just very sad and hard to talk about. It's also very hard to talk about the current transit in context of what's happening, so please be mindful when leaving comments. Yes, comments are open today. Please be mindful not only of me and my sensitivity, but also other people who may be reading those comments. So it's a very tragic situation. And what I can encourage many of you to do right now is to be patient with your judgment. You can have your opinions and you can have, your impressions. But I think that these types of situations, it's really good to be pragmatic and look at them objectively and allow all the information to come in. You have to sit with it because it's huge what's happening. And so yes, a lot of people are saying things, having a natural reaction or whatever is normal. But also at the same time, make sure that you're not talking over others. Especially people in North America have a far greater reach on social media than people in other places, especially Eastern Europe. So make sure that you're allowing people in Eastern Europe to have their say, to express themselves, to share with what's going on. And yeah, just all my love to everybody who's affected and their families. It's just such a tragic situation, and it's beyond, devastation. It's just so sad that this has happened. So I hope that we do find, agreement. I hope that we do find a resolution to this. And that's all I really have to say about it, out of respect to the people that are affected. A lot of people are saying things, politically and whatnot right now, and they're speaking on things as if it was a movie, as if it was like voyeurism, like I'm watching this, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. And that's a really, difficult thing for people who are affected to perceive. But however, people in Ukraine are asking us in the West to talk about it. So I'm not sure if you're going to elevate some voices out there from Eastern Europe or what you're going to do, but know that I've heard many people from Eastern Europe say, talk about this, make it current, blow it up on social media, make it relevant. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. On the one hand, talk about it, just be careful how you talk about it, and keep in mind that these are people who are affected. And as usual with these types of situations, the poor are affected by greed of the rich, and this is no other situation than that. The greed of the rich who are defending themselves, and the greed of the rich who are challenging what's happening. So the status quo. So there's the people who are defending what they have in terms of established norms, rules that make them rich, and people who are challenging and want that money and want that wealth, and they're coming into conflict at this time. So but be very careful with how you jump to conclusions. I think if you jump to conclusions, you're stopping yourself from really understanding the situation on a deeper level. So it's good to have your impression. It's good to have your feeling about what's going on, but keep open-minded, because more information about the situation will come out, and I'm about to tell you about it on the astrology. So I don't want to make today about astrology, about politics, but it goes hand in hand with what's going on. So I will try to contextualize it for you guys personally. There's a specific transit that we're under right now that I really want to share with you and show you. So maybe we can start with this now. So unfortunately, this transit started yesterday, and this is the transit of the moon in Capricorn. And I haven't been posting so much, so you guys maybe remember one of my recent posts about the moon entering into Capricorn in January, and that how that triggered hostility and that triggered these transformations. So once again, I told you the end of February is going to be crazy, and here we are. So end of February. First of all, moon in Capricorn is a really great transit, so if you have that in your chart, it's okay. It doesn't mean anything about you, but at this time, if you do have sun, moon, and rising in Capricorn, the intensity is great. The moon is going to be in Capricorn from February 25th, yesterday, last night, until the morning of the 27th, so tomorrow, a couple days. But this transit has for months been activating events as it goes through Capricorn, because there are so many other transits alongside of it. So for months now, like November, October, each time the moon, since 2019 essentially, we've been going back and forth with this moon transit in Capricorn. And so when the moon transits Capricorn, it's been doing a lot of different things. In my opinion, the moon in Capricorn is illuminating all these energies. So in and of itself, it's not causing things to happen. It's sort of elevating them and bringing them to the surface. It's showing us what we're dealing with. It's explaining to us our lives. It's delving a little bit deeper. So each month it's been like this. The last 2 months, January and February, it's been particularly intense, because Venus and Mars have formed a conjunction, and now they're moving towards Pluto through to Aquarius. And so there's a higher concentration in January and February. So when the moon enters these positions, it just sort of gets extra energy. What could that mean for you? I think that at this time, this weekend, you could be experiencing some degree of illumination. Events could happen in your life that could change things around. Truth can be presented to you about your current circumstance and your circumstances with others. The moon in Capricorn is a brutal truth sayer. So finally, something that hasn't been said is going to be spoken or told or explained. You might come into realization about something very powerful, or something that maybe is like behind the scenes. So in terms of the global political situation, I expect that at some point this weekend, there's going to be some unraveling one way or the other. I do feel like this Capricorn transit is hand in hand with what's going on. I talked about it more on Twitter if you want to check that out, those posts. And yeah, so moon in Capricorn, pretty intense. And so it is heightened by the fact that there's so many planets there. Let's talk about these planets first. So what planets are with the moon in Capricorn? So we have Venus, we have Mars, and we have Pluto, and all of 3 of the planets. This is Vesta, an asteroid, so we're gonna kind of tone her down. I'm keeping her in the chart so you can see her, because you know it does add to the energy, but we're really focusing on Venus, Mars, and Pluto. They're together at this time. I looked it up. the last time we had a conjunction in Capricorn with these 3 planets was 1036 Common Era, so over 1,000 years ago. So yeah, so definitely, wait, no, 1,000, just under 1,000 years ago. Sorry, my math is, no, hold on. Yeah, we're in the year 2000, not 2100. Okay. So it's been about 900 years, 9 years and some, since there was this specific conjunction. Back then, when that happened, it was different because Venus did not have her retrograde period beforehand. She had another transit with the sun. So it was the opposite side of the Venus cycle. And so what does this mean? Mars, Venus, together, of course, is very lucky for love. This is a very rare transit in and of itself between Mars and Venus and all of that. This is a video that I'm working on for you guys, but of course, with what's going on, there's been interruptions. However, Venus, Mars, and Pluto have not been together in Capricorn, and even then, they were more separated. So I think Venus and Pluto were together at about 20 degrees Capricorn in 1036, and Mars was something like 17 or 18 degrees and never actually caught up to Venus because the other side of the cycle, Venus is very fast, and so she just kept going and he couldn't keep up. So this is actually a very rare event that Mars is ahead of Venus and Venus will pass Mars. Very, very rare. So, and especially conjunct Pluto. So Venus and Mars are good for love. If for you personally, things can be transforming. Just from my interpretation of things, I don't think it's like a magical, whimsical time for people. I think most people, things are changing, but they're changing in a very pragmatic way, like Capricorn energy. Things are shifting. Your relationships with other people are fundamentally changing. It's almost like the structure of a house or the foundation of a house is shifting. And of course, in world events, we can see very tragic circumstances that are happening now. I don't want to comment on them out of sensitivity to the people involved, but there is layers of betrayal involved. There's layers of shock and awe and disbelief that are happening. We'll talk about why that may be beyond Venus, Mars, and Pluto. But Mars and Pluto together, I have Mars and Pluto in my chart together in Libra, which is a different kind of energy, also cardinal energy though. And so Mars and Pluto together can be very militant, can be very black and white, very like my way or the highway. So if you're dealing with other people, and especially if you're kind of trying to negotiate conflicts of interests or different perspectives, don't be upset if they're not giving you so much room. And it's either all yes or all no at this time. And don't be discouraged by that fact. If somebody's giving you a hard no at this time, just put that in the back of your mind and come back to it later. So no use screaming at the ocean right now. And I think that rather than wasting your time trying to change other people's perspectives and trying to persuade them, going to a different direction, doing something for yourself on the side will be much more productive with this transit. But I don't want to, obviously there's very bad things that are happening in the world right now. However, the transit in and of itself is very, very particular. And especially in energies that have overwhelmingly feminine energy, the more Venus energy, feminine style. If the situation is lacking masculine energy, there may be actually some significant improvement with regard to that because Mars is in a very strong position here in Capricorn, exalted Mars with Pluto. If you're in a situation, and how do I explain this? Like if it's a feminine situation, like if you don't have many men around, if you feel as though you're always dealing with women, if you feel like it's the feminine side of things, whatever that means to you, if it's a lot of inactive, like passivity or receptive energy that's going on and there's not many instigators or active active initiators, this energy can really catapult things to move. And so things can actually progress for you, move forward. It's not just a bad energy. What we're seeing in world politics really highlights the fact that astrology isn't good or bad. It's more like intensity. And so when you reach higher intensities like we've seen in Capricorn, and I'll do something separate on that, but when you reach these higher frequencies, higher intensities, they can go really good or really bad, which we're seeing right now. And especially if there's things that are unaddressed, if people are not talking about things, if there's third parties meddling and confusing the situation, if there's, just a lot of mess, this is the type of energy that's just cutting straight through any sugarcoating, any diplomacy, and just straight to the point, as brutal as it is. And this will be true for world events. It will also be true for your personal life. So I suggest that, you might this is the type of energy where you might be receive a proposition of some kind and say, hey, let's do this, sell your house and go away. And, that's the same type of extreme energy that's happening right now. So, not to kind of take attention away to what's going on in Ukraine and Eastern Europe, but there is positivity here as well, especially on that action-oriented energy. So that's just Venus, Mars, and Pluto. Very rare, very masculine energy, and it's a very special time for Venus and Mars. Overall, just to kind of tie it into the bigger astrological picture, there's several things going on astrologically at this time that are competing. So there's good and there's bad. And the unique thing about this time right now is that those good and bad things are sort of extreme. So you're going to get extreme good, extreme bad, and you can stay away from the bad provided that you don't get involved, don't step into it. This is a time to, around 222, 22222, right? Everybody was saying manifest, manifest, manifest. I was going to do a video, but that's why I made the community post. But if you looked at the astrology, that was the day before the official invasion, even though the invasion started in February 15th. But the moon was with Scorpio, right? And the moon was in Scorpio with the south node sextiling Pluto, and then trining the north node at this Medusa position. So there's been just crazy energies happening for the last little while. I forget why I said that as a point, but it's been crazy. And but there's also positive. Oh yeah, so people were saying manifest 2202. I just want to bring your guys' attention to the fact that when we have extreme energies, it's up to you when you want to manifest and how, but as someone who uses astrology and knows the frequencies well, I'll just suggest that in anyone, even if you're an expert at working with energy work, it's better to work with more gentler energies than, things that are moving top speed. These energies that are happening top speed are going to happen in your life anyway. And so why would you throw your intention in to something that's already happening anyway? And already I've seen people leaving comments and saying, this 22202 didn't work for me the way that I thought. And I'm like, well, that astrology, it was a quarter moon. It was, what was it? It was this weird North Node energy. There was just a bunch of, and Venus and Mars are sextiling Neptune, which is all sorts of confusion. So be mindful when you're trying to initiate things and push your will into situations. Extreme energies require more caution, if anything. You can get attached to an energy and it can take you really far. It can take you in all sorts of directions. And The one thing is, I don't know if you guys know the story, but I used Moldavite when I was a teenager for a very long time, like 7 years. And I wore it over my heart center. I still have it. I'll show you guys one time. The thing is, when you attach yourself to high frequency energies, they do take you in directions, but you're going really fast. It's like you can overshoot your shot, basically, when you do that. So I cannot encourage enough all of you, no matter if you're a beginner or an expert, to be mindful of the energies you're dealing with, because they are very powerful. So, you know, that's the Venus, Mars, and Pluto. Hasn't been together since 1036 and won't be together until after we pass away in 2200 something. So this is going to be a while before we see it again in Capricorn. The other thing about Capricorn, if you're weary of the Capricorn energy, it's coming to an end. There's another one in December, a series of a retrograde. There's a Mercury retrograde and a series of conjunctions, but they're on the decline. So the most intense energy was in 2019 and 2020. And so now this energy here is somehow connected, I'm pretty sure, but let's not get into that. That's where we're going to try to be respectful. So what is special about this moon transit in Capricorn? So if you're getting worried about this, I don't want to fearmonger or freak you guys out. So as you guys know, there is this Algol Medusa transit in the North Node at 27 degrees where the North Node has been. The nice thing about this moon is that this is the last time that the moon is in Capricorn until like during these concentration times. So the North Node has been at Medusa once every 18 years. It's a synchronicity that the moon happens to be transiting these spots, and Venus and Mars and Pluto are together, and the Medusa conjunction is here. The last time in 1036, that wasn't the alignment. The North Node, I don't know, I think it was in Libra or something, so it had a completely different frequency. So this is just a lot of, they're not coincidences, they're synchronicities. So as the moon enters this 27 degree of Capricorn, which will be on the 27th of February, tomorrow morning, it's gonna form a trine to this position where Medusa is. So let's talk about the North Node and Medusa. And those of you who don't like this conversation, I'm sorry, but it's really relevant. This is probably one of the last times we're going to talk about her for a while, so congratulations to you. There's one more thing that I'm going to make for you guys, but for now, that's, this is it. So why is the North Node with Medusa so significant? Well, Medusa in astrology is like a Moldavite energy. With Moldavite, it's unmistakable. It's one of these energies that you cannot deny. It's so explicit, and it's so clear, and it's so easy to identify for astrologers, because there's like even now with what's going on, the moment that North Node is here, these things in Eastern Europe start crystallizing and being activated. There's people who are saying don't use astrology to justify this. I'm not. But I do believe that astrology can be catalyst events, which means that they push things over the edge. So a situation that's, temperamental could actually be like accentuated by the astrology. Astrology is a tool, an old tool for measuring frequencies. It's not perfect, and we don't use it fully right, but some energies are so clear. And so Medusa is this energy. Furthermore, why is it Medusa? So the crazy thing about Medusa is that there's a story attached to it, about a girl and being turned into a monster and being very threatening in figure, right? So that's Medusa story. You can look it up or watch another one of my videos on it for more. What does that mean? Our interpretation, I believe, this is my take on astrology, our interpretation of these different myths about Jupiter, Mars, Medusa, Uranus, whatever, they're human stories that are attached to frequencies. It's not the other way around. It's our interpretation of the energy that we're intuitively understanding. So the parables, like the Medusa parable, is not in itself reality. It's describing a frequency that we as humans are interacting with. So when we're saying that Medusa is here at 27 degrees, it's not the literal figure of Medusa. It's the frequency that we as humans interpret as Medusa and give it some kind of human face. So don't get confused with saying that, Zeus or Jesus or Saturn is sitting on Mount Olympus and, telling us what to do. We're using astrology as parables, and that's why Vedic astrology works too with their pantheon of gods and energies. So it's human interpretation of frequencies by using stories to express what they mean. And so Medusa is a very threatening energy. And in astrology, whenever something transits Medusa, there's problems. Not every single time, so if you have placements there, don't worry. But when the North Node, the portal to the future for us collectively, transits it once every 18 years, crap hits the fan sort of thing. So that's what I would say about that for our purpose today. So why is this significant? As the moon, we're focusing on this weekend mostly, but if you're watching this after, please watch this to the end as well. It's a catalyst event. It's going to tie into other things for you. As the moon hits this position with Pluto, Mars, and Venus, I know it looks separate on the chart, but they're really close together. And so as the moon hits that point, we get that illumination, the really seeing what's going on. I even had the dice here, pointing up to the transits as they are. I think I moved them around just explaining it to you. But as the moon enters into that position alongside Pluto and Mars and Venus, I think that this is going to be one of these big truth moments that we have in our lives, and it's happening tomorrow morning on the 27th. Another thing about astrology is applying, which means that as this transit is coming closer, the moon is moving to this position, it's really going to intensify throughout today. And so anytime from now until tomorrow morning, there could be some very, very big events happening, truths coming out. And I don't really want to fearmonger or scare, but it's an intense energy. So for you personally, it's an intense energy. And for us collectively, it's one as well. And then what's going on here is that Pluto is forming this trine to Medusa in the North Node, as we've spoken about before. And so there's this portal that's opened up to this frequency of Medusa. And this frequency is kind of in some way bringing in some harsh truth. It was activated on the 22nd, 23rd of February when the moon was with the South Node, the past lives for us collectively, and now it's making it real. So it's an intense transit. And it has something to do with our future, both individually and collectively. And the silver lining about this is, I think this is the transit. I think this is going to be like one of the big transits. And that's why I filmed this for you guys today, so you're aware of this. So yeah, this is it. Today to tomorrow, pay attention, use your energy wisely, and especially any energies of malice and hate. Be very, very careful around them. Throw positivity or love at the situation. Don't get anything that gets you riled up, try to step away from it at this time. Okay? So and people will be crazy. Some people will act crazy at this time. So hopefully that wasn't too scary. Before I go, I am going to say something a little bit worrisome. So if you're sensitive, just jump to the tarot now. So I'm going to tell you something that's a little bit more scary, but it's over. So it has a happy ending. If you're just wondering, I'm very careful with how I break news to like large groups of people. So, okay. So while this is all happening, you have to appreciate that this astrology is intense because so many things are synchronistic. We're in the last quarter moon, which is the shadow of the moon, the dark side of the moon. There's just so many different things like the Venus-Mars-Pluto conjunction, the south node with the moon sextiling the Pluto, and Venus and Mars sextiling Neptune, and then this aspect to Medusa. There's a lot there. And the nice thing is that this is the last one before the North Node moves off of Medusa, so it'll greatly reduce the pressure. And it's the last one before Venus and Mars move out of Capricorn, moving past this Capricorn energy. But the one thing that is worrisome that I was hesitant to tell you guys about, I was going to do this yesterday, but I got derailed. So as you guys know, Medusa is actually quite dangerous when it's creating an eclipse. So I said this in my previous video, it creates eclipses sometimes because it's a binary star system. It's a tripart star system, but it's not a single star. And so when one eclipses the other, as you guys saw in the previous video, and I'll put this video at the end, it looks like it blinks, and that's where ancient astrologers, identified the star. This is one of the first stars that they were working with. So this eclipse is where the problem is. When the eclipse happens, problems happen. So I'm happy to say that the eclipse, while the moon was in Capricorn, is coming to an end. So it started this morning, and now it's almost over. And usually with this eclipse, it's very clear as it's starting that something is happening. So unless I don't know about something, there was no event. So there was a heightened chance of an event this morning with the eclipse while the moon was in Capricorn applying to this position. And I don't think, even though what's going on in Eastern Europe is great, there was not one single thing that sticks out. I don't know if there was an escalation this morning. If there was, please let me know. But yeah, so, this event was actually, we're just finishing it up. So, I hate to say it before to you guys too, and maybe this is why I really didn't put it beyond Twitter. I put it on Twitter because these are probabilities, and I know somebody's going to watch it and be like, somebody's going to watch it and be like, this is world's coming to an end, and it is a probability, a chance. So there was a heightened chance of, things going bad or things getting worse, and, you don't want to speak it into existence. But now that it's kind of passing this eclipse, that was something I was worried about, to be honest. And if something happened for you, in your personal life, be very aware. If anything happened this morning on the February 26th or throughout the day on February 26th, be very aware of what that situation is in your life. If any of you are experiencing any form of violence while this transit is happening, stay away from the people and the situations that you're experiencing that violence with. It's a clear-cut red flag. You guys know how I read. I'm not like I'm not gonna, be over the top. And so this is, I just read something that just blew my mind. And so somebody who has a Eastern European name, a Slavic name, just said that NATO got involved a few hours ago. So this is a commenter in the live talk. So I'm sorry, Silvana, I'm not questioning your authority. I just don't know you, so I'll mention this. And she just said that NATO got involved, which is, you guys know I love politics. I'm very politically aware, and that's just heartbreaking to hear. So we'll save that for Twitter, and I'll start crying. So thank you for sharing, Silvana. I'm not questioning your authority, but I haven't heard this from any other source yet. So please don't take this as news. Double check with your sources. And so thank you for sharing, Silvana. But yeah, I hope you're wrong, frankly, because NATO involvement would be just scary. So anyway, sorry. Well, it's live, so you guys saw that. So that would be the worst thing. And that would be one of those events that is just heartbreaking. So, okay, so let's move on. Let's do how about this? Because this just really ruined. So first of all, Silvana didn't ruin anything by sharing this information. I'm just heartbroken. So I was going to do a sign by sign reading, which I think will be too hard for me to get through at this time. So now I have some other person who I actually know from the channel who's confirming this. So for me, this is the first time hearing this. If you guys don't know, I'm from the region, so it's very, very upsetting to me to hear this. So how about so first of all, I don't want to talk about the details of this before I learn more about it. So sending arms is not getting involved. Okay, somebody is saying something different. Okay, so guys, we had a good talk. It was 37 minutes. If it's okay with you guys, I'm going to bail on doing the sign by sign, but I'll be back, I promise. And what we'll do is just a collective reading right now, because I think that that's all I have in me at this time. And we'll do another reading if that's okay with you guys. So let's do that. Obviously, this, first of all, I think one of my favorite subs asked, why is NATO involved? Why is NATO involved such a problem? That would be a major escalation. Although some people are saying there's no NATO, so let's stick to that. Please check for yourself. This is why this type of situation is so sensitive. And I love all you guys. Why don't we do a reading? I hope it's your Silvana's misunderstanding, or the two people that said it's their misunderstanding. Sending arms to support Ukraine is not involvement. That is the type of package and support they've been receiving from the West all this time. NATO involvement would mean like an actual world war, basically. So I'm getting several people saying no NATO right now. It might be a definition of terms, and delivering arms is not involvement. It is an aid package. That's considered something different. Still, Silvana's not wrong for sharing, and thank you for sharing, because that was her interpretation. But this is why news on the internet can be very misleading. Okay, so probably everything's okay. And let's stick to that. Okay. Sorry about that. That's a very Lilith energy. That's a very Medusa energy. They like to scare a lot. And I'll do something on that also. And I'm not calling anybody Medusa, but they like to get involved and stir the pot and cause distress. So that's a part of this energy as well. So if you are experiencing something, and we just had a perfect example of how this energy works during this live, so you guys got to see how it plays out. People who are innocent, who are trying to help, there may be miscommunications. There could be very distressing things coming through and getting miscommunicated and all of that, and be very mindful of your energy, take a break like I was gonna take a break, all of this stuff. Be mindful of this energy. The moon exits Capricorn on the 27th in the early afternoon. So here, I'll tell you guys the exact time, so we'll show the whole thing. I'm not patient enough today for this. So the moon will enter into Aquarius on... That was horrible. I actually feel like I'm pretty sure NATO's not getting involved unless something big has happened. But so far, there's no sign of it happening that way. So 11:30 a.m. Pacific time on the 27th is when the moon will enter Aquarius. So be cautiously optimistic, and don't get involved in BS. And if they're... Yeah, Silvana, you're so welcome to share your perspective and trying to help. Of course, anybody, if it's a misunderstanding, that's why this situation... I'll just say something else. That's why, first person sources are the most important. But you have to also realize that people who are there, especially Ukrainians and Russians who are experiencing this right now, are going through a huge trauma. They can't leave. Men can't leave. Their fathers, brothers are all conscripted from 18 to 60 years old. It's just very intense right now, and not to overshadow what's factually happening, the practical things that are happening there. The astrology is greatly increasing the intensity of that energy, and I'm very, very hopeful that when this conjunction breaks up a bit, then there's going to be improvement. But there's going to be other things. I have other things to point out. This year has very highs and lows, and we have to be strong through it. We have to gather ourselves and be strong and resilient so that we can be strong for people who are in difficult situations, and just be strong for ourselves as well. So just be mindful. Being upset and frazzled is not helping anyone. So although it's justifiable, try to gather yourselves and be grounded going through this energy, and just send love to the people affected, especially the poor, because I can't say enough about how we see, people leaving Ukraine and expats, like they're lucky enough to be able to leave. But what about all the people who are poor, who don't speak English, who are stuck in the middle somewhere without a car and without transportation? Those are the people that don't have a voice. And so we have to be always mindful of the people. And when we're speaking, we have to always bring to attention the fact that we may be speaking over others who are not able to have a platform to share and let us know. And there's a lot of forces at play, and without getting too political, that are overlooking the health and the wellness of individuals and poor people, especially, who are further displaced and further marginalized because of this. So, when you're doing your processing and trying to understand the energy, be mindful of the fact that there's people you don't know who are having experiences you can't comprehend. That's all I'll say. Okay, so let's do this reading. I'm happy to say that probably this NATO thing is a delivery of arms, which is only self-protection is only a good thing. So let's leave it at that. But please check, the news and whatever. Okay. So I'll tell you guys that I was going to actually do just one reading. And then I broke, and I was like, they haven't got a reading in a while. I should do a sign by sign. But now I just can't. Honestly, I can't sit through an hour and a half of doing every sign. But I'll be right back. And members, we are going to do the sign by sign readings, the earth, air, fire, water members only, because I know you guys are waiting. Okay, so we have Queen of Cups energy. And then we have the Three of Cups. There's great potential for fixing things with other people. So this is your personal reading, not a general reading as to the world politics. So, okay, there's a great opportunity to fix things between people. Look at this water energy. There's like a depth of love and understanding that's flowing between people, and just a very deep emotional interpretation to what's going on. Power breaks down with love. So when people exert power, or there's this transit that's very power oriented, when there's this very like black and white sort of Capricorn energy, the softness of love breaks it down. So this really appears to me as though it is through love and compassion and mutual understanding that we can overcome things. And again, not to bring attention to what's going on in Eastern Europe, but I just have to say this, that there's many people in Russia and Russians online and soldiers who are defiant. There's people abandoning, their positions, refusing to hurt others and walking away. So, and it's through love and compassion for each other. See, many Russians and Ukrainians have like bi ethnic histories. They have family members from both sides. So this is a very difficult thing for all of them. So we have the Queen of Cups and the Three of Cups. All I can say is love can break through the barriers of, very black and white sort of thinking. And then we have Page of Pentacles, new beginnings. And I know I just mentioned something political, but this is also for yourself. Believe that being very open at this time, being open to reconnection with others, can lead you to wonderful things. We have the Eight of Pentacles. And, I'm going to have a hard time fitting this in. I zoomed right in today because I wanted you guys to see all the action. And then we have the Six of Swords. Okay, so we'll do 4 lines of this and we'll talk about each one. I'll do it a little bit faster. So we have the masculine energy working away and a very focused energy towards a resolution. I think that there's an energy here of growing distance within communities, which is the Six of Swords. There's a feeling here, and I'll be honest, this may not be for everybody. There's a feeling of someone who's important in some people's lives moving in a different direction. A chapter is over in a relationship and they're moving on. This feels like a friendship energy. This feels like a friendship or some kind of other alliance. While the feminine is finding something new. I don't know if it's a financial success or something that is materially based, but this concentration in Capricorn is definitely good for finances. So the female energy is finding something new, receiving something new. Remember, Mars is ahead of Venus, so in Capricorn, so the feminine energy is receiving something. The masculine energy is very active right now and pushing ahead towards some kind of outcome, like working ahead, working to achieve things. Then we have the Two of Swords. This is, the first comments about the astrology that I made. Be careful of family dynamics at this time. So this kind of, if you're getting, the hardest thing is to get a hard no from somebody that you love a lot, like a family member, someone who's dug in their heels and not able to compromise. This is the energy here right now. This is not forever. And like I said, don't scream at the ocean, guys. Screaming at the ocean, I mean, to let off steam, sure, but to try to make a change, it's the ocean. If you've ever stood in front of the ocean, it's crazy and it doesn't stop. So right now, the energy is not very good for, it's like trying to convince an angry person to not be angry. Better to come back when they're less angry and compromise at a later point in time. This is also pointing to the fact that some of you may not know everything that's going on in your family. So if somebody's standoffish, if somebody's unforgiving, there may be more to the story that will get worked out. The next message is Two of Wands. If you are going through a reunion with friends, partners, or anybody else, if you're reconnecting with others, there will be more that you learn about the situation. So there's more to the situation than meets the eye. I think that you probably already know that there's more to it. And then we have the Lovers, okay, which is Gemini. For women out there, there might be new opportunities in love, okay, so I'll break it down, my thought process of what I'm noticing. It feels as though someone's moving away. This feels more like a feminine friend than a partner. So don't worry about your, boyfriends, girlfriends, whatever. But if a friend, a companion or a friend may be distancing or moving away at this time, maybe not literally moving, but just energetically separating. This Page of Pentacles here with the Lovers is really suggestive of the fact that there's something new that's possible, that's coming up, that's distracting while this is happening. So there's this feeling of like, which direction to focus on. There's the person there's the distance that's growing, and yet there's something new being born. So there's something really new. And Lovers is not just the lovers, it's also the card of brothers, Cain and Abel, family. So there's some kinship, I would say. This is more of a kinship energy than just love and romance. Something important, a relationship that's important is coming up. And yeah, it's coming to, like, the feminine is finding something new. So there's a push and pull energy here between focusing on something, a relationship that's distancing while a new one is emerging. Then we have the Page of Swords, Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra. I'm getting the masculine is working very hard, and they will come to find some kind of a new understanding of things. Maybe working through things before they finally understand. So if you are in a conflict between a feminine and a masculine energy, and the man has pulled away, or the masculine energy has pulled away, it could be a woman with a masculine energy as well, okay? Or somebody who's neutral gendered. Of course, you adapt this to your reality. So the masculine energy has pulled away, and there could be a conflict between a feminine and a masculine energy. And so the masculine energy, while pulled away, while focused on something else, is finding a new truth, a new way of understanding, and this will be very benefic to the relationship. Here is the next message. We have the Knight of Pentacles. There's really strong indication that someone is leaving right now, while the querent, you're also on your own journey. So it's not you standing in one place and someone moving away. It's going to be more of an energy of two people going towards their own destinies. And this is a very strong earth energy, which is Capricorn and Taurus. By the way, I should give a heads up. I haven't been posting enough, and there's a lot of little by the way things I want to tell you guys about this. I always have like lots of different little things I want to say. Follow me on Twitter, because I'm trying to throw out like little blurbs that are not going to fit into anything else there, because it's very time sensitive too. So I can tell you this transit is happening right now, and you'll get it right away, faster than everything else. Anyway, if you have transits at the end of Virgo, so in September from the 15th through the 21st or so, you're creating a grand trine between the North Node, Pluto, and your placement, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Mars. This placement is so key right now. It's so transformative. Whatever is happening in your life, embrace it. It's such a big deal. So pay attention to that. Similarly, and I'm not going to go through every single sign, we'll talk about this soon. When we're talking about Leo at about 18 degrees, actually, Leo towards Virgo right at the end, so 15th of August through about 21st of August or so. Hi guys, I'm back. Okay, so now it's fixed. Let me know if, yay. Okay, so I was sad because I was like, okay, I'll explain. If ever something like this happens again and I'm at the end of the video, I'll just go into the comments and tell you my last remarks. I guess I'm telling something to Leos that's very important. So like I said, Leos who are born very in August, especially, you're going to have an intense time right now that is going to be very important to your future outcomes, and it's very positive. So, you know, exciting. Also, Pisces, yay! Okay, so Sun and Jupiter about to form a conjunction. This happens once a year. Very, very lucky time. I'll tell you guys, since for all of you who waited, let's see the day that it's happening. I forget right now. It's it looks like May 5th. Look at this. May 5th, we have the conjunction in Pisces. This is benefic for everybody. This is, in other words, this is positive for everyone. This is a positive turn of events and very, very good for people who have Pisces energy. Okay, so let's finish. I got distracted with telling specific signs, specific things, but now let's do the last row. So one thing that I'll say is that when a stream goes off, when there's like electrical problems, it's usually because the person is telling you something very high frequency or some kind of a frequency thing is going on. So whatever it is, Leos, it's a big deal. Something big deal. A big deal is happening for you. Okay. So next energy is the Six of Cups, which is Sun in Scorpio. You know, this is reassuring that if you're having difficulties with family members, and this is more like parents, aunts, cousins, not necessarily your partner, just your general family. If you're having problems with your kids, if you're having these types of problems and can't get on the same page with them, this is saying that chill out. In the end, it's going to work out. It's going to work out. By the way, as I was shuffling, the Knight of Wands sort of showed up. To me, the Knight of Wands means that there could be someone involved, like a new partner, a friend, you know, a girlfriend or boyfriend, who's stirring the pot and ruining the dynamics of the family. You know, when someone meets someone new and they're dating someone new, sometimes those energies, maybe the relationship is good and the family is good, but everyone together is a mess. That's what it feels like to me, that maybe the integration of a third party in this situation is not very smooth at this time. And this is saying it will change, that there's love in the family and things will work out. Then we have the Two of Cups in the next position. So yeah, there could be, for those of you who are in a third party situation, which means like there's another person who's involved, there could be some lingering. So if you're trying to figure out your love triangle with two other people, and you're waiting on someone to come back to you, especially, there could be delays because there's like a love commitment between them and someone else. Don't shoot the messenger. It is the way it is. Then we have the Nine of Swords, which is Mars in Gemini. In this position, it's saying that things are improving. I think that some of you may have been experiencing a lot of anxiety about someone leaving your life, like your friends going, what are you going to do? You just got so used to being together. All your anxiety is moving away. And now I just have another person who's just said that NATO's not involved. So thank you for that. So that's wonderful. Well, it's not wonderful. It's so hard to say one way or the other, and I don't want to explain why I'm saying or why I think what I do. Just honestly, I'm still developing my opinion on everything, and I think it's very mindful to be in this type of situation, to be patient. Time will judge, and do as much as we can to help those people involved. That's my just opinion. Just to clarify, because you guys know I'm politically opinionated, and I think it's very important time to hold that back and like let people talk and let things unfold or resolve if they can. Okay, so then we have the two of Pentacles. Sorry for the interruption, but this was good news. Okay, so careful improvement in situations. Some people are involved in a very like tenuous situation, tenuous meaning that things will work out if you go slow. So if things are kind of rocky between you and someone else, they'll go better soon, but it's going to be a lot of off and on. People have to kind of come to their own realizations over a period of time. Then we have the Five of Cups. Don't fall into disappointment. Didn't I say this to you guys in the astrology? So don't fall into disappointment. Do not take this laying down. Whatever's happening in your life, be proactive. This is a once in a lifetime. Your grandma didn't have this transit. Your grandkids are not going to have this transit. Well, maybe your grandkids will if they're really old. But like these transits are unique. And they have positives as much as negatives attached to them. So be mindful of that. There's a great opportunity now to level up, to do better, to ascend, to transcend. It's just very good energy. And be honest. That's the important part. Be honest with yourself and others. A lot of energy work, a lot of energy things just go, nosedive straight into a wall by dishonesty, by manipulation. That's where those kinds of character traits, those kinds of behaviors really fall apart. So if you're worried about this and you're not an astrologer and whatever, just be honest. Just be honest with yourself, with what you want. Follow through and be a little tough right now. Think of your Capricorn friend if you have one, or look up some Capricorn celebrities if you don't. Take a page from their book and be a little tougher, at this time. Be a little bit more resilient. And I'm not speaking to Eastern Europe in anything. That's a personal observation. We need to be strong for them, by the way. Then we have the King of Swords. There's a transformational relationship that's happening within your family. Simple. There's going to be, you have to let them come to their own conclusions. If they are the King of Swords, Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra, maybe. But if they're those signs, and especially if they're male, they're extremely stubborn. So you're dealing with a very, very stubborn person. Then we have the King of Pentacles. This could be some kind of future ahead of you. This could signal financial success. Things are going to turn to be things in and of themselves on their own. There's very, very lucky things for money at this time. Like I'm saying, I told you guys this when this transit started in January. I like this energy. I like how strong it is. I like how focused it is. I like how it sticks to the facts. I like how it gets things done. And so use this energy. This is not going to be like another wave to jump on. This is, just compartmentalize and do the best you can with what you're given. Then we have the Emperor energy. There could be a lack of communication from men at this time. Just honestly, for now, not forever. There's a lack of communication. This is caused by the fact that some people are not communicating well. There's a lack of transparency. Okay. The next message is the Eight of Wands here. You're going to get some good news soon, especially if you're waiting on a masculine energy to say something. They have to process. You guys have heard about the man cave before. The man cave is where men go, and women go there too, but I think women try to go into the man cave more than men try to go into the woman cave. So that's where the problem is. That's why it's called the man cave, because men sort of don't butt in where they're not welcome more. Women are nosy, we're nosy. So if you feel a little bit ostracized by your partner, specifically if they're a man, and if they have not been understanding the point, or there's been some type of miscommunication, I really think that it's going to be a turnaround, and I think the light's going to go on and they're going to understand. Okay, let's see. And then Chariot, overcoming things. Very hopeful for world politics. The Chariot is the card of Cancer. Three of Swords, broken heart. broken hearts start this and they end it. It really is true. You know, we end situations and relationships because of broken hearts, and then we mend situations and relationships because of broken hearts. Isn't this true? I made this deck. I don't know if you guys know this. That's why I always use it. But this Three of Swords it's my favorite. I love this card. It's not my favorite card, but I just love it's my favorite take on the Three of Swords out of any deck I've seen. But anyway, so Three of Swords, our lives, our relationships break down with Three of Swords, and then as we heal ourselves in our relationships, it's the Three of Swords that allow us to be open-hearted and sensitive to each other and build new relationships and overcome. So if you're struggling, so in summary, I know that I get very specific about little things. If you're talking about relationships, like I'm saying, don't expect something to happen right now that's transcendent. But I do feel as though the things happening now will lead into an improvement in your relationships. So thanks, you guys. Sorry it was a little here, there, everywhere. It's a very strange time in the world right now. I really hope that you guys bring in positivity towards it. And I know you guys do. If you said something about, what happened, please don't be upset. I'm not upset with you. I know that was said in genuine concern, and mistakes I'm never mad about, people misunderstanding things, whatever else. It's the intention that matters. It's the intention. So if your intention is good, I love you, and I know you love me too. By the way, I was going to tell you, gardening season has started. So Veroosh's hands are going to look worked over for the next 3 to 4 months. So I don't know. I'm sorry. But I like it better than the fake nails. So it's true. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a nice day. And thanks for stopping by. Have a nice weekend. And remember, the 27th, tomorrow morning. I don't know.